Hey you guys, let's personalize our high lunge or our crescent pose. So we're gonna work with some active cues so that you can find all of those details in your body that helps you feel integrated and supported and strong, and so that you can customize that shape for yourself, right? Versus positional cues, which are more place your foot here, the arm goes here. We're gonna work with more of your internal engagement, right? Okay, so from here, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and either side of your mat, doesn't matter. We're gonna step back with, let's say that right leg, okay? Now, your legs go to the degree that it feels good in your body, of course. But here's what I want you to know. This hip flexor, this front of the hip on this back right leg, right? This is where we're getting a lot of attention. So if it's feeling like that's too much, pull that back leg in a little bit and feel that release, okay? When we're moving through our yoga shapes, we do want to challenge our edges, but we want to make sure we're not kind of crossing that line to that area of pain, right? I'd like you to find some stretch that feels maybe slightly discomfort, a slight level of discomfort, but it's still comfortable. So all of the toes in our crescent pose are facing that short edge of the mat, right? So you can even kind of gander back there and just notice that all the toes turn forward. Now, sometimes what happens is that heel's gonna wanna drop. It's not wrong, because we're typically doing that because we wanna find stability. This is a balance challenge, right? My heel is lifted off the mat. I don't have all points of contact. So if my heel lowers, that's just telling me that my stability needs a little extra support. Now, the way to do that and still get that stretch on the back of the foot, which is phenomenal, we want to widen. So I want you to think, I'm gonna just face you here for a moment. I want you to think train track, right? I'm widening those feet away from one another instead of tightrope. So if I'm on a tightrope, my balance is going to be more challenged, right? If I'm wider with those feet, I have this wider base to find that stability in. So let's go ahead and play here. Now, from here, what I want you to notice is rib cage is stacked over pelvis. Sometimes we get into this shape, and because this is a lot of kind of length on that front, that front of the hip flexor kind of complex there, sometimes my ribs might want to just naturally come forward. When the ribs come forward, I'm not able to find as full of a breath. So let's swap feet. So what I'd like to do is bring the rib cage over the pelvis and find that length in the waist, right? That tail to crown sensation of that long spine. So as I breathe, I have that space and that room to expand, and that diaphragm can descend towards that pelvis. Now, take a few breaths here. Feel that connection. I want you to give a little scissoring of those legs together. So right now, press, let's see. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is first find all those tripod points, right? So that's big toe mound, little toe mound, and the center of each heel. Now that back heel, right, isn't gonna land, but I want you to feel the energy going through that back heel as well. Press into the ground, press into those feet and those tripod points, and then give a little bit of a scissor of those legs together. Feel the engagement. You might even feel a little bit more happening in that front of the hip there. Now, ribs are stacked right over that pelvis. Breathe. The neck is relaxed. The jaw doesn't have any extra tension. Let that go, and then go ahead and shake that out. That's a lot of work. Okay. All right, you guys, so let's find torso, good. Okay, let's find that last piece there. Take any leg back that you'd like. We're gonna find that last piece of the arms here. Now, very often in crescent pose, right? So we're gonna find tripods, heavy, take whatever stance, right? Find that width in the feet that feel good for you and your stability for today. I'm gonna scissor those legs together and feel free to bend that back knee. That could also help kind of lower that tailbone a little bit so you find that kind of beautiful space in your torso for that breath, that full breath. Okay, now keep that stacking, keep that long spine. And then you're gonna start to take the arms. Now, very often you'll see crescent pose like this, right? The arms are framing the ears. Depending on your shoulder mobility is going to determine how far you reach the arms up, right? So this might be where my shoulders feel good. This might be, or this might be. Now, here's your little indicator of how far to take those arms up. Your rib cage, right? So if I'm lifting my arm up and then I've kind of reached the end of my mobility in my shoulder, I'm going to start to arch my spine to get my arm further up, right? It looks like when I bring my rib cage forward, it looks like my arm is going higher, but really it's not in the shoulder joint. It was coming from my rib cage. So what I'd like you to do is honor where your mobility is right now. We can build that. It'll change as you challenge that mobility. But I'd like you to honor that kind of stability in the torso and the spine as you lift those arms up. Now, here's where you kind of personalize that and then take a breath. Good. All right. Now, you guys, we're going to go ahead and flow with this just a little bit. So whatever side of the mat you'd like to take, you're going to take that right leg back behind. Oh, let's start. Okay. All right, you guys, let's personalize this a little bit. Let's come to the front of your space. And we're going to go ahead and take a nice big inhale here. So find that mountain pose, that breath expanding out the sides and the back body, letting it go. Kind of notice the neck, the jaw. Now, on your next inhale, go ahead and take a nice big sweeping breath up. Exhale, hands come to heart. Now, interlace those hands. And you're going to take those hands to the left thigh. Now sit into a soft chair here. Just kind of send that tush back a little bit behind you. And you're grounding through all of those tripod points. Now we're going to challenge our balance here a little bit. Now press through that top of the thigh there. And I want you to feel that connection. The lower body and the upper body are going to kind of connect. Find this zippy sensation. Now press, press, press. Lean over to the left until maybe that whole foot lifts. Maybe it's the heel this go around. And just find that nice strength in that left leg and a little bit of balance challenge there. Now from here, we're going to step back with that right foot to the back of your mat. Find all those points and you're still going to stay connected to that left thigh here. Okay? From here, maybe you're adjusting those feet and you're taking them a little bit wider. Could use that extra stability. And now we're going to move our spine in this shape. Give a little hug of those legs. You're going to scissor them together just a smidge. That back knee, feel free to give it a little softness there. And now from here, you guys inhale, round that spine. And exhale, sternum comes forward. Let's take a few of those. Inhale here. Really stay connected to those tripod points because this is a challenge. This is a challenge for that stability. All toes are facing forward, right? You can even kind of gander back to that foot, see where those toes are facing. And that's giving that really nice stretch on the back of the leg there. Good. Go ahead and find that long spine. Fingertips reach behind you for airplane arms. Now here we go. Inhale, straighten that front leg and might stay a little bit bent. Just kind of play with it there. And then exhale. Let's do that again. Let it go. One more time. Kind of playing with that mobility here. Good. Go ahead and turn towards that long side of your mat. Take that power pose. Let's breathe into that space for just a moment. Take it up. Maybe take that width in the arms. Maybe hands are better served at heart center today. Good. You might even want to reach behind, interlace, and open up the chest. You could also grab wrists and even feel that opening in the chest by just reaching those fingertips behind you, right? So opening up and expanding that chest there. Good. Go ahead and wind back to that front of your mat. Step forward, shake it out. Let's go to the other side. And I'm just going to switch sides so that I'm facing you with that back leg. Now, mountain pose. Maybe give a little loop with those shoulders. Notice the neck. Feel that grounding through the tripods there. Here we go. Inhale, sweep to whatever degree feels good. Exhale, hands to heart. Interlace. Now here we go. A soft chair pose and press those hands into that right thigh now. Now keep pressing until you feel that core engage and you're kind of shifting off to that right foot now. Maybe the heel lifts. Maybe you play with those toes lifting. Or maybe today that balance is kind of allowing you to find that kind of wiggle, ebb and flow on that right foot. Now step back with the left, crescent pose. Toes, kind of check. Toes are facing forward. Adjust those legs as it feels good for that stability. Give a little scissor and you're going to feel that stability all the way into the hips there. Now inhale, round. Exhale, sternum comes forward. Moving that spine, right? Giving it some energy, some mobility, some aliveness. And then long spine. So you're going to stay in this kind of lunge position. You're finding that long spine, ribs are right over that pelvis there, and then fingertips reach behind you. Give a little extra energy. So maybe shoulder blades hug towards one another. Inhale here, straighten-ish that front leg. And then exhale, come on forward. Let's take a few more. Just exploring and enjoying. Good. Open up, power pose. All toes to that long side of the mat. Kind of wiggle feet where they need to go. Decide where you want to take those arms here, right? Maybe you're looking up, maybe a little back bend. You're giving some movement into that mid spine. Fingertips could go to low back and just kind of opening up that front of the chest there. You might want to grab wrists, forearms, or even interlace and open up that chest. Good, you guys, let that go. Shake it out. And there is your crescent pose. Hope you found some good cues to help stabilize and mobilize and feel your best.